Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to go over the GUIs for our units. And to start this off, I have loaded up our our unit by definition and all of our GUIs the for the Kazanji faction on the right side and our simulation technology, unit by technology, and our faction trait simulations on the left side. And this is just to show you, and I kind of want this to be a little bit of a quick video, so because the GUI isn't necessarily that difficult. There isn't a lot of things you can really do with the GUI. What I mean by that is that you've seen the GUI for the faction traits before, and if not, then you might want to take a look at that video and how we did the GUI for the faction traits. But the ones for the units are very similar. There are a couple of different things that you have like more ability to change, such as there's more options for images, and for your technology you can have a place to move your technology. But in general, the actual but in general they're not that the GUIs aren't that difficult. So to get right into the video, I'm going to open up our Silix file, and we are going to add in our GUIs. So the first GUI we need to add in is our GUI unit by definitions. And so I'm going to bring this all the way over here, and we're going to take a look at this. So by taking a look at this, we can see that the first thing is the name. So what are we going to call this? So we need to have this be a reference to our unit body. Since the GUI is a representing our unit body, I have our unit bodies set up, and for our first one we called it unit body Silix normal. So we are now going to copy our name, and we're going to just place it right in this variable right here. And then we can change the title as well. Like we are going to give this a title of the Silix normal title, and later on towards the end of the video we will just go over the actual titles of the units. And then for our description, we can just swap this out and call the Silix normal as the description. And as I was saying earlier, how we have a bit more free range of what we want what we want to do, and like more things to add. We can also now add images. So as you can see right here, we have these two images. I'm not entirely sure what the Atlas bitmaps are, but the dynamic bitmaps are types of images that you can actually yourself load into the game. So for example, right now I'm currently calling in the game's file in Unity. I'm gonna call in the GUIs, gonna call in dynamic bitmaps, gonna look inside units, and I'm gonna look for the image that says unit Kazanji Devil large. Now, let's say that I call this Kazanji Devil large 2. And let's say that I have an image called Kazanji Devil large 2. What I do is that I create a file called resources, or it doesn't necessarily need to be called resources, but the main thing is that you have a file and it references the GUI, and you click on the dynamic bitmap. Then you create one that, well, I have one that's called factions, but when you make yours, you need to make sure that you have one that says units, so that way it gets read. And let's say if this was called units, then it will be able to read these images. So that's how you're able to actually add your own pictures to the game. And the reason why I have this one here is because the main purpose for this one was that I didn't really, when I made the Kazanji faction, I didn't necessarily care about adding the pictures from adding my own pictures, because a lot of the pictures that I needed were already in the game. Similar to the Silix faction, like a lot of the pictures are already in the game and I don't need any extra more pictures. The only thing I did want to change was the images of when you loaded up the game and what you saw. But I think I mentioned this before, is that that whole aspect is very difficult, and you can actually go about making that, but it will cost you some other, but it will cause other problems along the way. So, and later on in the video, not in this video, but like in the series, depending on if I have time before school starts, I will be making, I might make a video on how you can actually add in change the images of your faction, besides just like the units and some faction traits. But anyways, getting back into the main content, this is how you would actually add in the images. So for right now, we don't necessarily want the Kazanji Devil large, and we don't really have any image of ourselves that we want. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually take a look inside the game itself and see if there's anything that says, that's in the GUI, that says about Silix. So I'm going to just look for Silix, and I'm going to look for it in the game's GUI, and oh, I guess there should be more. Common, Endless Legend, Public. Okay, I guess the GUI is not going to be popping out then. I guess there's no more big files it can really use. So we're going to look inside GUI, and we're going to look for everything that says Silix. And we can already see that we have like a lot of different images coming up, but we can see right here that we have one that's, well, this is battle action. That's different. That's about like your unit actually moving when you're inside a battle. But we can see right here that in our GUI elements unit body definition, we have our unit Silix Golem small right here and our unit Silix Golem large right here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to copy this, and we are going to go back into our, actually we're also going to close that out. We're going to go back into here, and we are going to just swap out these two for this right here. And so now when we load our game, when we click on our unit, we will see that it will show an image of the Silix. And now for our other one, the Titanium, I guess, like, if you want, you can make another, you can make another, like, image, maybe one that's a Silix, but, like, has a more, like, hue blue. But for right now, since this video, since, like, this series is more as in just to show you, like, how to do this, and not necessarily well, originally it was meant to be, like, a full-on mod, but, I'm thinking that this is just more as in, like, that this series is just more as in just to show you how to actually go about this, instead of like creating a whole new image and then trying to work with it, making it more like blue. And I mean, doing that in Paint isn't probably the best way to go about it, because it'll take a lot of time and resources to get that. I'm going to just leave it as is and just have the image also be the unit Silix Golem as well. So I'm going to just copy that, and I'm going to paste that right there. So they will look about the same when you load in the game, but it's but they're not. They're going to be different. Yeah. Well, anyways, there's other things that we can do later on that can like make them different. I mean, we already have like the title and the description to make them different. Oh, didn't mean to do that. We are gonna copy that. We are going to paste that. We are going to go right here. We're going to paste that right there. And yeah, so we now have both of our units. So whenever we start the game now, we will see these when they pop up, when we like click on our units. So the next GUI that we want to have is the GUI elements faction traits. No, wait, no, why did I say that? It's actually the GUI elements technology. And I'm going to go into here and place that right there. We're going to open up our technology and we're going to move it right past the Silix. I'm going to close this out and I'm going to close this one out. So right here we have our, so what we need to do is that we need to call our technology, and I have my I'm also going to close out my unit body because I'm going to leave that open, but I don't think we need it anymore, but I'm just going to leave it open just in case. So I'm going to call in my technology, and I'm going to copy this, and we are going to have it reference our, I think this is supposed to be not that, but it's supposed to be where's the technology? It's not supposed to call that one because it needs to have something technology definition. I think I'm going to find it in here or right over, potentially in custom. No, and major, I think that's what it was. Normal, specific trait. It should be, I'm going to just take a look real quick in factions, and then I'm going to just try factions affinity, and if that doesn't work, then we can always, alright, well, we got that open. Oh wait, yeah, this is where it is. Okay. Yeah, so we need to have this as our name. Not the, so what we're going to do is that we're going to copy it from here, because remember, this is our actual technology. What you see right here, this isn't our technology. This is just like saying that, hey, this is going to be a technology, but then we're going to actually add all the technology stuff when we call it into here. So I'm going to close this out. Going to copy this. Going to replace this. And yeah, one of the things that you can do with technology is that you can actually control where the image is going to go. So, for example, right here you could change where the x coordinate and the y coordinates are going to be. For right now, I'm going to leave them because I think that this is an open space, and I'm not entirely sure what spaces are open and what spaces aren't. But I think that this is an open space. And right here, we're going to change our title from that to be our, I'm going to open up our GUI right here again, our body definitions. And I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go over to here, and I'm going to place that here. And remember, the reason why, and if you notice, this is the same as our unit body, and that is because they're all going to be the same. They're all going to have the same description and the same title. So that's why we have them both reference each other. And this is also another reason why because like you can, if you want, you could just type in whatever you want here, and it will say that in the description. But the reason why you want to have a localization is because notice how this unit body Silix titanium title is going to get called in multiple times in the GUI, because whenever you click on the unit Silix titanium, it's going to have the same title and the same description. So if you just want to have write the title and description once, that's why you'd have a localization, as well as having the localization as an organized place to keep all of your titles and descriptions. And then right here we have the image for our icon. I'm not entirely sure what the default size is. I never really played around with this, but so if you guys want, you could play around with this and figure it out what it is. But for right now, for this tutorial, I'm going to just leave that as is. I'm pretty sure that this is just saying that like it's going to be like a normal size, and you could change how large the actual screen is from an based on some sort of like variable that's inside the game itself. But yeah. And so for right here, we're actually going to also have this be the we're also going to have this be the same unit Silix golem right there. Okay. And so, and then what we have is that this is like this is just saying like what error it's going to be in. This is just going to be in error 1. So we have 2 error references, and you'll notice also that in the game that there will be a lot of well, not a lot of them, but like occasionally you may come across some what's it called? Just not illogical errors, but more as in just repetitions, like things that don't need to be there. So for example, you have this one, because this game was made by multiple developers, and sometimes it is hard to communicate. You can see right here that this one is referencing what error it's going to be in, and this one is also referencing what error it's going to be in. And this is because this guy was making the Department of Science and Constructibles Error 1 technology, and this guy was making the GUI elements, and you could see that both of them they both wanted to make a reference for the technology error definition. And this also occurred in another spot. I forgot where it was, but this happened another time when I was playing around with modding. But yeah, just something to keep in mind, that if you do come across 2 references or 2 functions that seem the same, there is a chance that they are actually the same, that they do perform the same task. It's just that, and that's because you have multiple people working on the game. Okay, so the next thing we are going to implement, so we got the technology, and now we're going to have actually, we need to get our affinity mapping. Actually, no, let's not do affinity mapping. Affinity mapping is a whole other, that's a whole other ball to play with. This is where you would add your, this is where you would make the graphics for your faction. And so as you can see right here, you could change like what the image of the leader is going to be, what the image of the person of like when you die or when you load the screen will be, and all the different images. And again, you can implement them inside the game as well. And we're not going to deal with this because you have to first call in affinity mappings, and then when you do call in affinity mappings, it removes some components, such as you can't build wonders, and I think I figured this out, but in the past you couldn't actually build any resources, and it just overall reduces some aspects of the game. But not building wonders is just one of the things that I've found out that will happen when you include your own affinity mapping. And if this is confusing, then then if I make the video on the affinity mapping, then watch it and I'll go into more detail about why all this is. Well, not why like the buildings don't work, but like just more as in what doesn't work. So yeah, so our last thing is the GUI elements unit design. And so we're going to go in here and we're going to go into unit design. And actually no, we're first going to copy this. And we're going to paste that there, and we're going to add in our unit designs by first taking out these right here, because we're not actually, I'm going to leave, no, I'm going to take these out. I can't have them in. I can't have them in yet. That's going to, actually the settlers and the militia, that's going to be for my next video when we add those in, because after this the units should be good. So I'm going to go back into the unit body definition, and the first thing that we have is that we need to have we need to call in our unit design. And your unit design is called in two different scenarios. The first one is the right here in the army, and right here in our, well, not there, but in our unit design also. So if we go into our simulation, we will see the unit design right here, and what we can do is that we can copy this and we can just add this to our GUI element right there. And so now we have our unit design still looks normal, and we can also add in our title for our Silix as well. So we're going to call this, I think this was called Silix normal title. And if you notice, this is almost exactly the same as the unit body definition. The only difference is that what we're referencing first, because remember, this is what we're originally referencing. This is what we're calling in, and this is what we're combining. Like, we're taking this aspect and we're combining it with all this stuff right here. So yeah, we're basically taking all of our unit body, like the things that we added, and we're just adding it to our unit design Silix normal. And so to finish this off, we're going to swap this out, and we're also going to go back into here to find out what the unit body thing right here is. And we're going to place that right there. Oh, nope, not that. And we are going to go back into our, nope, that's something else. There it is. And we're also going to do the same thing, but for our unit body Silix titanium. And we just need to call this one our Silix unit body Silix titanium. Gonna paste that in right there. We're going to paste this in right here, and we have our unit and we're going to change our unit design from that to our unit design Silix titanium 1 right there. And so yeah, now we have our unit designs, and so because we have this, we should be able to play the game, and we should be able to now wait, let me just make sure I saved all this. Yep, I saved all of it. And we should now be able to build our units as well. So anyways, I'm going to the rest of this video is going to be playtesting unless there is some sort of problem in the game. But yeah, and then after this, all that we have left to do is the settlers, and oh, that was loud. All we have left to do is our settlers and the militia. Oh, that's the wrong mod. So I'm going to just lower the volume on this game because this volume is really loud. In a little bit. Well, actually, let me just lower the volume first. There we go. Okay. Now that I can hear myself. And I think we are missing... Oh, last thing. I forgot about this one. The last thing we actually need to add is the traits. So if we go into our faction traits and we compare that to our GUI elements faction traits right here, we see that we have the KF units called in right there. So if we look in our game and we look for in our simulation, we look at the faction traits, not there. I think it's under factions. We should see that that in our last video we converted our unit to a trait, and we have our faction traits right there. So all we just need to do is, which one is it? This is it. Okay. So all we just need to do is now just call this in as well, so that way we can actually then start to play around with our Silix. So we are first going to go into, I'm going to just copy one of these just to make sure I have a good example. Going to paste that right there, and we're now going to call in we're going to just replace the this stuff with our stuff. And so yeah, I'm going to just take the SF unit normal and swap that out with the SF unit normal right there. Replace this body with the SF unit normal right there. Unit body with the SF unit normal right there. And we can... Actually, I'm going to also pull up our GUI elements right here. And I'm going to just make sure... Because it's not called SF unit normal. It's called... Our unit body, like, title isn't called SF unit normal. Our unit body is called unit body Silix normal. So we just need to change that so that way it matches. And we just do the same for this one right here. And we do the same for this one right here. And all we just need to do now is go into here and take our SF unit titanium and change it to right here. So now that that's done, we are now going to start our Endless Legend game. And so ideally this should work. Luckily there was no validation error, so what that means is that we don't have any sort of syntax errors. And yeah, the last video, so I think the next video, which is the militia and the settlers, is going to be the last video, because I don't think that there's, and you can see right here how we have our thing. Oh wait, no, the localization is going to be the last video. So yeah, so we have only 2 videos left, or maybe 3, depending on how long they each take. And then we are done, and then we finally have our mod. And it takes quite a while to make these mods. which is why there aren't that many on the Steam Workshop. But luckily, if you do need help, these videos are here for them. Like not only is this like a good like series to watch and learn how this works, but if you're playing around with this and need help, I show you like how to actually go about and like sometimes fix some of the errors. And so we can see right here how we now have our images for the Silix. I'm going to place down a construction right here, and we can already start to see that we can build our Silix, our Silix right there. I'm going to remove my hero, and I'm going to move my Silix. We're going to take a look at our technology, and we can see that this was an open space, and that we can now, we can actually start researching this. So, yeah, everything's looking like it is working. So, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do like this video and find that they are helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video.